Hi guys, welcome to the Stamping Society October tutorial, where this month we are featuring small treats as our theme. So little things that can be used as gift bags, little treats that you can give out, things like that, which is perfect for this time of year, giving gifts to friends, all sorts of things like that. When I thought of this theme, I thought of the idea of little note cards and a little gift box. I don't know, just popped into mind, and I thought of all the gift packaging ideas that Stampin' Up already have, and these little scalloped craft treat boxes are so cute. They already come as part of our inventory. They're really cute craft with a gold polka dot, and I think you get, I'm not sure how many there is in a package, I think there's like 10, and I wanted to use the Splendid Day suite, so I had a lot of fun creating this and some little note cards that go inside. We actually stock, I don't think they have the package out, but we stock these adorable little 3x3 inch envelopes. So they fit perfectly in these little craft treat boxes, and you can easily make 3x3 inch note cards to go with these. So that was the idea behind my little gift box today. So I'll open it up so you can see what's inside. So I've just done this little ribbon holder to decorate the top. And then when you open it up, there's a whole big bunch of these little note cards. So I've done 3 different colours. And you can open them up, and I've just done a little inside, and then I've also made some little cute decorated envelopes with those 3x3 envelopes to match the cards. So a really cute gift idea to give someone so that they can gift it on, and they can also use the box as a little gift box as well. So it's a gift that keeps on giving. So that's what I'm going to make with you today. So I'll just, rather than put that back on, I'll just sit that to the side, and I'll show you how to put it together. So what I'm going to do is make some of it with you. I've got all my pieces pre-cut. I won't talk about the measurements because that's all in the PDF. If you want the PDF, you can get that with all the supply lists, the measurements, and everything like that. And that's available to purchase, or you can even earn it for free. The link to purchase it is in the video description below. So in Australia, you can purchase it for $9.75 Australian. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can purchase it from me. So it's got a PayPal link to purchase. Or if you join my team, you always get my PDF tutorials for free. Or if you shop with me in my Stampin' Up store, if you're in Australia, and purchase $35 Australian or more, you get it as a free gift. So that has all of the links to all 6 tutorials from the Stampin' Society team with all the measurements for our projects and more. So that will give you the download of everything you need to know. So here's my little pre-cut supplies. So I've got my little note card pre-done, and then I have got my layer of soft sea foam for my front of my card, and a a shimmery white layer, which I'm going to watercolor, and then I've got just a little piece of basic white for my inside. And then I have my little 3x3 envelope. I've got 2 because I'm just going to show you how to do that. And I do have a scrap of the Splendid Day Designer Series paper, which I'm going to use to do my little envelopes. And then I have my little piece of Splendid Day Designer Series paper, and this is really cool because it is metallic, so it's a specialty Designer Series paper, and that's going to go on my card front. I have pre-die cut one of these really cool tailor tags, and this is the second smallest tag, and I have pre-die cut that out of some soft sea foam cardstock. And you will need, I'm really lazy, well, it's not lazy, it's just prepared. I actually have a heap of these little pieces pre-done in my supplies, so I'll get one of those out so I remember. But they're these little tag eyelets, I suppose you call them. And then I have pre-die cut out 2 of these pieces because I will need one for my card and one for my tag. So that is just this piece here. So I have pre-die cut those out of the gold glimmer paper that comes in the holiday catalogue. And then I have pre-stamped and cut out 2 of the Sending Hugs sentiment on just some shimmery white in some Memento black. And then I have stamped out this piece here in Versamark and heat embossed that in gold because I'm going to watercolor that piece as well. So that's my pre-made supplies that I'll need. I'll put all those to the side because what I'm going to do is put together my little gift box so that is done to begin. So what I like to do, this is pre-scored. I like to grab my bone folder and I'm just going to score again along those fold lines just to make sure I have a nicely scored piece. So I'll just score along those nicely. Now this all folds together pretty easily. You'll see this is the base of the box. Now what I like to do is actually add some tearing tape. So I'm just going to add some along these pieces here. So I'm going to add it to one of these pieces because I think it helps to hold it together a little bit better because we want a nice sturdy box. So I'm just going to use my take your pick tool to help hold that together a little bit better. So I'm just going to make sure I've got that nice and even. I can actually flip that over, use my bone folder there, and then I'm actually going to slip that in there. And I want the tape, the important thing is you want the tape not on this side, you want it on the pattern side because you want it to sit in there. So fold that back over and add just a little bit of tear and tape along that pattern side there. Peel that off and we're just going to poke that in and press that together. So that's the bottom of our box done. Super easy. Oh, I've got 2 of those. Okay, same thing with this. We're just going to fold and reinforce those score lines. Just to make sure they're nicely folded. And I'm going to add tape to one of these pieces. Just like that. You don't have to add tape if you don't want to. I just felt like it helped hold it together nicely. So make sure that's nice and square. Push that together. And then we want to add some tape here. Peel that off. And we're just going to stick that one in and press down. And then I found if you really want to make sure you've got a nice square box, just pinch those corners. So that is the box put together. And then you can just pop that there. So we can pop that to the side now. The box is all done. So now the next bit we want to do, because we're going to have to set a couple pieces aside to dry, we want to grab our small square of shimmery white. And I'm going to bring in some Pool Party ink. Just open that one up. And I'm just going to grab a block and add some ink onto my block. Now I like to bring in some paper towel and I'm going to grab one of my water painters. I absolutely love watercolouring. Now when I like to watercolour, I like to prep my piece with some water. So I'm just going to add really loosely some water onto my background, then add some water onto my block to pick up that colour. And I'm literally just dabbing it on so the colour really moves around. Now, Pool Party is quite a light colour, but I'm just really bringing that colour onto my piece. You can go back and add some more Pool Party onto your block if you feel like you want a deeper colour. Pool Party is quite light, but I didn't want it too overpowering. So I'm just going back and adding all that colour onto this piece. Not trying to overthink it too much. Just want all that colour on. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. Now I'm going to clean my block off. You'll see that colour's running quite a bit. You can move it around. Now, I actually really like heat setting watercolour because you get some really hard lines. So I'm just going to bring my heat tool in, moving that colour around. I'm going to heat set that colour. Work in different areas. I can already see some hard lines forming, which is really cool. So I'll show you at the end what I mean by a hard line. If you let it dry naturally, you don't so much get the hard line look. I found that when you heat set it with a heat tool, you get more of that hard line look, which it's a personal preference, but I really like the hard line look. So I've just got a bit more to move around. Almost done. Okay, so I will bring this up. What I mean by the hard lines is here you can see the pools of colour that have dried in a hard line. I actually really love that look. So that's what I was going for. Now, because it is slightly warped, I'm actually going to sit it underneath some big stacks of magnets, which will help smooth that out while that dries. Now I'm going to bring in, while I'm watercolouring, so when you're making these note cards, you would actually heat emboss or stamp and heat emboss 10 of these. I've heat embossed them in gold. You could do them in whatever colour you like, but I have done gold. And I'm going to do mine in Fresh Freesia. So the original ones I have done, I'm just going to take a sip of water. I've got my Stampin' Up cup. My original ones I've done a mixture of Petal Pink, Soft Seafoam and Fresh Freesia. I'm going to do this one in some Fresh Freesia. So same thing, I'm going to add some Fresh Freesia onto my block. And I'm just going to clean off my brush. And I'm going to add... So on yours, if you make 10 note cards, you would do 10 of these. So you could choose to do them in different colours or a mixture of colours, all the same colour. It's up to you. To start off with, I'm going over each petal with just some water. Shimmery white is an excellent medium to work with watercolour because it can take lots of water. So I have just prepped it, my water. So I'm just going to add some water to my block with the Fresh Freesia, and I'm going to add my colour on. So what was I going to say? Yeah, I've gone off topic completely. Okay, I meant to say, when you heat emboss images, it's really great when you watercolour because that heat emboss line helps to keep you in the line. In saying that, I do quite often go out of the lines, and I'm okay with that. I think watercolouring is never supposed to be perfect. I'm not about being perfect at all. I quite like messy. So I'm just adding in, I went out of the lines then. So I'm just going to add in all of that colour. And this is a two-step process, so I'll show you in just a moment. I'm probably covering up because I know I've got some shadowing, so I'm sorry. So this step is just about adding your base color on. So you want to go and add that first layer of fresh freesia on like that. So what I did when I worked with the 10 is I went and added the whole first layer of fresh freesia to all 10. So I let it dry completely, and I found that worked a lot better. So what I might do is leave that for a second, because I want to show you letting it dry helps for this process. So I might do my little envelopes while that dries. So I was going to do 2. I'm not sure why, I just had 2 there. So when I decorate the envelopes, what I like to do you need to remove some glue from the tip, is just add a little bit of the liquid glue. You could use tape, you could use whatever glue you like. I like to add a little bit to that whole envelope flap and just stick that right to the edge of the paper. The reason I like liquid glue is because if you get it slightly uneven, it gives you that moment to be able to move it. And then all I do is take my scissors and then trim around that envelope flap like that, and you get that really cool decorated flap. Isn't that cool? So I can quickly do this other one. So I'll stick that down. So this is going to make a super cute gift. I've got plenty of people in mind that I could give this box of note cards to, and I'm sure that they would love to re-gift these on. And because they're quite generic sentiments, sending hugs, there's lots of people they could pass those on to, and there's a perfect little scrap there that you can reuse. So they're the cute little envelopes, the decorated envelopes. Okay, so I'll just check this. I might leave that for an extra second. We can do something else to our card. Let's do the little interior. That was very fancy. So I'm going to use this stamp here, so the more solid, and then the outline, just to add a little bit of decoration to the inside of our card. So what I thought I might do is to coordinate with the watercolored image on the outside. I'm going to use some fresh freesia with this more solid image and just stamp it a little bit on the edge there. So that's very simple. And then I'm going to take that outline image with some smoky slate and just stamp it. It's not meant to match up, just stamp a little bit of a outline image there. So that's all I was doing to the outside. Those that know my work know I love Winker Stella, so I'm just going to add a couple little spritzes of Winker Stella, and then we can add that already in on the inside of our card, ready to go. So that's the inside of our card all done. So that's as simple as that's meant to be. Let's see, how are we going? Okay, it's just a little bit wet still. This is the beauty of live video. So let's take our tag and get that bit ready. So I've taken this little image here. So this little dotty, spotty image, it's meant to go with this one here. Now, none of these images match up. They're not meant to. They're a bit eclectic. So that's fine. But I'm going to just use it by itself, and I'm going to stamp it over my tag just to add some texture and something a bit different. So I'm going to stamp it randomly over the background of my tag. So just a few times in the soft sea foam. And then I want to add my little tag topper. Just goes like that. And then I've got one of these pre-die cut pieces here. And now I have to remind myself where I put my last one, but that's okay. We can just wing it. So this one goes partially off the tag. So I'm just going to focus my glue on these main bits that are going to hit the tag, and I'm going to stick it just onto that tag. Some of it's going to go off the tag and we'll just trim that. So I'm just going to trim that little piece there. So that's how that sticks to the card. And then I have got these little sending hugs that I showed you earlier, and I'm just going to stick one of these to my tag with a little Stampin' Dimensional. So that one is ready to go when I get to that bit. So let's come back to this piece. I reckon this is good to go. So now what I'm going to do is add a second layer. So I'm going to reactivate my ink, and just lightly pressing on the barrel, I'm going in and adding some darker fresh freesia, so with a second layer. Now I'm focusing just on where the leaf begins and adding some more detail. So don't overthink it, just go with the flow. I'm just sort of focusing and running it out a little bit, but not going to the tips. So where the leaf curls over, and then sort of running it out a little bit. So if your ink is still wet from where you've begun the first layer, it'll sort of just blend in and you won't get that darker look. So you're best to let it dry from that the first layer. You can add as many layers as you want and make it darker and darker. So just work into getting those darker layers, lightly pressing. So as you can see, it's added a darker look to that, and you can add a little bit more. Just keep adding until you're happy. It will continue to dry lighter, so just blend it out a little bit until you're happy, and then we're going to have to let that dry once again. Okay, so I'll move that off to the side. I'll let that dry for a second before we will die cut that piece out. I'll see how my little piece is going here. I think that's pretty good. So we can adhere this down. Now it's still a little bit warped. I'll see how I've had issues with my Stampin' Seal. Oh no, we're going to be nice to me today. Okay, so I'm just going to add some Stampin' Seal because I want a nice strong adhesive, because these watercolored pieces do tend to warp. So I'm just going to adhere that down, give it a nice big rub to get out any of that warping, which I'm pretty happy with. I like to just go over it, give it a big rub, and then we're going to adhere that straight onto our note card. Like that. And then our fresh freesia piece is just going to go right over the top. Like so. Spritz some ink with Stella. And then I might, to speed up the process, I might just lightly hit this with the heat gun just to see if I can get that to lightly dry, just for the sake of some live crafting. And then we've got a coordinating die here. So I'm just going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Line that one up and cut that one out. And that's got our die cut piece there. Really pretty. So we want to stick that one down first. So I'm just going to add some adhesive, and that one's going to get stuck straight down to our card. My tip with die cutting these is I would add some, if you've got them, adhesive sheets, because it would be a lot easier than adding this liquid glue. For some reason, every time I do this, I forget to utilize my adhesive sheets, and I really should, because it makes it a lot easier than going and doing this. But you could also use the fine tip glue, but I definitely would recommend using those adhesive sheets if you can. So I'm just going to hold that down for a second, and then I'm going to come in and add my sentiment, which I'm going to add with a Stampin' Dimensional. I'm just going to add that over here. Now I can spritz my whole card with some Wink of Stella. I love adding glitter. Now I want to add some sequins. A tip for the adding sequins is I would lightly add some of that glue and let it sit for a second, and that will let it go tacky. So I found that really useful. Now, just while that goes tacky for a second, we might just work on our little box. So I'm going to just pre-get, these are all the cards that I have pre-made. So I'm not making 10 with you today, because that would take me an eternity. So I've got all my envelopes made, just minus the one card, so I can pop those in my box, and I'll just add the last card when it's dry. Now I'm going to add some of these little beautiful brushed brass butterflies to my little tag, and I'm going to add 3 of them. So I'm going to add one of the beautiful big butterflies, and then 2 small butterflies. And then I'm also going to add, and they're playing hide and seek on me. Don't you? Oh, they're just right in front of me. One of these beautiful open leaf trinkets. They're super cute. So these actually coordinate with the Splendid Day suite, and they're super gorgeous. And then I forgot to get it out, but I'm going to use some of the Essentials Baker's Twine in this. I think it's Sahara Sand. But what I want to do first is grab my soft sea foam ribbon that also coordinates with this suite. And what I found easiest was to tie this twice. So I'm going to grab my tail first, and I want to wrap it around my box twice. Then you roughly work out how long your tail wants to be, cut it, and then I'm going to pull that up and tie. And I just want to tie a normal bow. Tie it off nice and tight. You can fiddle it around. I'm really fussy with bows, but I'm going to try and not be, because I want it to be pretty loose, like pretty, not too fancy. I've lost my favourite ribbon scissors, but just cut the tails a little bit. And then to get our little tag how we want it to be, I actually want to just cut some of this thread, not too much, and I'm just going to thread it through this little open leaf trinket, and then I'm going to thread that through the tag. Oops, I lost it out the other end. That worked well. Okay. I think there's a guy at my house coming to quote solar panels, and I'm in here ignoring. That's the way to do it, isn't it? Okay, so I'll tie this to my box, and I'm not going to tie a bow. I'm just going to tie a knot. So I'm going to wrap that through, pull out, oopsie, and then just tie this little knot here. And then I'm just going to cut that off. And what I like doing is actually fraying the ends. So I actually just get the end of my Take Your Pick tool and pull out those threads to fray the ends, which I find really cool as well. Just gives it that extra little bit of something. So you can just fray those ends a little bit. So, oh, I forgot to add the sequins. Okay, so I'll open up my sequins. I like to tip a few in the lid. Take Your Pick tool comes to the rescue, and I'm just going to pick out a few. I love the gold, the little gold ones. Oopsie, sequin disaster. I'm getting sequins everywhere now. I need some more putty. Okay. Oh, goodness. Okay. So I'm just going to, if you have the time, put the glue on all of your cards and let it go nice and tacky. It works a dream, trust me. I've learnt this through lots of trial and error. So I found some little, it was really cute, little pink ones. There's also little gems in here. It's just I probably can't find any on a whim. I might not go with the gems because I'll have to hunt. These are the cutest sequins ever. I love sequins. I'm a sequin girl. I even have a sequin dress. Okay, so that's added some sequins. By the way, if you haven't seen these sequins, you need them in your life. They come in a 3-pack and they're the most adorable sequins ever. Okay, so that's the little card, and you've seen how to put the gift box together. Isn't that an adorable little gift? So this is it open, and you've got all those little note cards and coordinating envelopes. I hope you had fun seeing how to make it. Be sure to check out the links below where you can see the blog post where I show more photos of it. And if you want the PDF tutorial, the links are below on how to purchase it or earn it for free. And you can see all the other tutorials in my store. Thanks so much, and I will see you guys in November. Be sure to go check out all the other videos, which are all linked below to the YouTube channels of the rest of the Stampin' Society team, where you can see their small treats for October and all the fabulous ideas they have. So thanks so much, guys, for watching, and I'll see you guys back in November. Have a lovely month. Bye.